Today on CityCast Boise, we're back with the second installment of our Summer Entertainment Guide, where we help you make the most of one of our favorite seasons. Today, I've got Blake Hunter and Graham McBride with me, and we're sharing our plans for the perfect summer day in Boise. It's Thursday, June 15th. I'm Emma Arnold, and this is what Boise's talking about. Hi, Graham. Hi, Blake.
Hi, Emma.
Hey.
So we are talking about the perfect summer day in Boise, and I'm excited to hear both your summer days, honestly, because I struggled a little coming up with mine because I feel like since it started to be really hot and really smoky here in the summer, a lot of what I would have done before, I have kind of scratched in the last few years. And I used to be really outdoorsy and like do a ton of stuff. So mine are like a little more indoory and just kind of like excited to hear your takes because I need a new list of fun things to do. Like I think a lot of people. So Graham, why don't we start with you? Walk us through your perfect summer day.
Yeah, totally understandable about just kind of the overwhelming nature about summer and what to do and how to make the most of it. And for me, it's that, we've got up to 16 hours of daylight. So it's like you've got 2 full days practically in a day. You can do so much.
Well, where do you start? Or you wake up, okay? You wake up. And
Yeah.
where do we go first?
Yeah, so I'm definitely a morning person. So I am going to get up pretty early, and then I love to be on my bike, as much as I can be. So I am probably going to head down to the Flying M, grab a latte to go, maybe go down to Goldie's and get a breakfast burrito to go, and then just get on the Greenbelt and start making my way through all of our lovely parks. So probably, Catherine Albertson is pretty great in the morning, a wonderful spot to sit, along one of the ponds there and check out the birds. Yeah, and so as the day is progressing and it's starting to get a little hotter, one of my other favorite parts about the city is we have so many great public pools, and we have such a great system, in my opinion, with the pools. And there's a pool pass that you can get for the summer, so you can go to all the pools as much as you want all summer long. And once again, I'm a big bike rider, and the natatorium pool is right along the Greenbelt, and so I'll probably head there and get a little swimming in. That being said, as the day is progressing and it's starting to get a little warmer, I might pop out, have lunch, go down to the Roosevelt Market, get a sandwich down there, and in order to beat the heat, I of course like to go out and go thrifting, go out to even the antique stores, Antique World Mall, go to the one on Hollister and State, and a great way to spend the summer day, because I feel like it's a bit of a hack in that when it gets really hot in the afternoon, a lot of people, that's then when they want to go to the pool. That's then when they are wanting to then go float the river and all of that. And so if you can get all of that done in the first half of the day, then everything that's inside, I think, is going to be a little bit less crowded. So you can kind of win on both if you are a crowd avoidant person.
I love this day so far. I love this because you're right. If you are new to Boise, the Boise pool system, so great. And you get that little pass. When my kids were little, we would go twice a day because I had 3 boys with a lot of energy. So we would go early in the day, and then we would go there open again. The Bora pool was open again from 7 to 9. And so I'd wear them out again before bed. So
Nice.
And it's pretty affordable. It's like $100, I think, for a family. But yeah, that's a really good way. And then you're right, like, not super busy if you kind of go before it gets super hot. I like that. And then thrift store shopping, that's a really, really good idea. Are you doing anything in the evening? Like, okay, dinner wise, are you doing anything once it kind of starts to cool down a little?
For sure. Yeah. And this is really this is the time of the day that I think Boise really has unlocked for the summer is that early evening, getting into that even twilighty period. And it really, I kind of, can't help but feel kind of a overwhelming, romance that comes over during that golden hour period. So I am likely to pop down, to like Fancy Freeze, grab a burger and a shake, and then I'll drive up to Holes Gulch, up to one of the trailheads up there, and just park and just watch the sunset across the city.
I love that we do have such spectacular sunsets. And like you said, it getting late, dark so late here. I've lived other places and it gets dark at like 8:30 and it's like, "Oh, how disappointing." Cuz there is just something about that stretched out, 9:30 to 10:30 where it's still light. There's something in your brain that's just like, this is the most romantic thing,
Yes.
like yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. I love that. What a perfect summer day. Blake, what about you?
Yeah. So I'm kind of with you. I'm definitely a summer baby. My birthday's in July and like I hate winter just generally because of like seasonal depression stuff. And so like the summer I just like try to eat it up as much as possible. I think that my kind of like ideal summer day probably involves going to some sort of like market. So like presumably like it's a Saturday, like farmers market kind of vibe. And I'm gonna try to get my hands on any like particularly strawberries, but any kind of like local fruits to like bake with, because the whole premise of my perfect summer day in Boise is built around basically like hosting like some sort of barbecue kind of thing. But I kind of like to make a whole day of it where, I get some friends together and we kind of like go like read in a park, like hammock, that kind of thing. And again, as far as trying to get in the water, I love to swim in the river. It's going to be like mid July before we can do that this year, I feel like. But that's always really fun. And yeah, I try to get there like noon or 1, I feel like is the good window just because the just absolutely insane crush of people hasn't hit the river yet. One of my favorite things is to go to one of the Great Garden Escape shows at the Idaho Botanical Garden for just like something that like a band that I've never heard of before, and just kind of parking out like on the lawn. And there's something about that twilight that we have where, first of all, I kind of always forget every summer that the hottest time here is almost always like 5 p.m. It's not like 2 or 3. Like there's something about like the 5 p.m. heat that will just like drain you of all your life. So if I need to go home and take a nap, I will just do it and not like kick myself about it. But there's something about, yeah, our like sunsets and twilight and just like how the night just like drags on that, yeah, can kind of just sustain an evening in just like a really fun way. But the ideal summer day, I think, is just like largely like finding a good, like solid group of people that can just kind of go with the flow. And so that's kind of the ideal summer day, is just like kind of going through the course with that like core group of people.
I love that because that's kind of like what we did when we were kids. And I feel like as an
Yes,
adult, you don't get to
absolutely.
do that as much. And it's sort of fun to almost treat your city like you're a visitor, get like 10 of you together and then just be like, okay, we're going to hang out all day and
Hmm.
we're going to, we're just going to like pop around and like lay around at the park and set up a hammock. I feel like when I was a kid, you would be like, oh, you just sort of like let the day unfold and not
Yeah.
have this like super structured plan. So I love that. Well, I kind of have two, honestly. And like, it's because I had like two very different, like a rural summer day and then like a city summer day. So either way, I'm going to start out by sleeping in, which is actually I'm not capable of. But in this made up perfect world, no child or dog comes in to wake me up at 7 a.m. And I actually sleep in a bit. And then I don't go anywhere. It's first thing. I love to just so rarely do I get to just sit and like have a leisurely cup of coffee where you just
Mm.
like sit out on the patio and take your time. And I just want to sit and drink my coffee at home, have a bagel or something. And then I want to go first thing over to Jordan's Nursery, which is my new favorite nursery in town. I mean, I love tons of nurseries. I buy way too many plants, but I just went to this one for the first time. It's over by Costco. It's on Cole, locally owned. Tons of really interesting and unique plants there. I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to look. The other day I stopped by
Ha!
I ended up buying $120 worth of plants, even though I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. But oh my gosh, I got so many cute, unique little things. So I'm going to start there. And then, because it's a little warm, already, I'm saying this is like 11 a.m. It's already a little warm. So I'm going to go get myself a little boba smoothie somewhere. There's a lot of lovely little locally owned places. Boise Boba is locally owned. There's a couple others. Going to go get myself a little smoothie. And then I'm going to take that smoothie down to one of my favorite things to do in the summer, Julia Davis Rose Garden.
Yes.
In fact, a lot of times when people come in from out of town, I take them to their rose garden just because I never really like have a chance to get down there. So I always love an excuse to go down and just like wander around. I love to then go sit by the river for a little bit. Like you said, that's such a like pleasant thing. Then from there, I'm torn. Okay. So one thing I love to do in the summer is I love an afternoon when it's way too hot movie.
Yes.
Like
Ooh,
I'm
to
into
go
that.
to the flicks in the afternoon or to pop by, the downtown theater there. There's just something so great about going in at like 3 p.m. when it's
Mhm.
too hot to be out and about. And when you come out, it's still too hot to be out and about. But like you've been in this dark, air-conditioned womb of imagination. And I love a summer afternoon
good.
movie. Especially, I don't always do this very much except when I'm touring, but by myself. A movie by yourself,
what a luxury.
Love a solo movie. It's so good.
such a
Yeah.
luxury.
Also, the Flicks patio, I feel like is underrated.
Yes.
It's such
Oh,
a good
yeah.
patio, and especially as it gets later, I forget if it's clematis or what it is, but they have like vining plant that grows over,
Mhm.
and it just gets more and more shaded as the summer goes on. I love it. Yeah.
Like talk about romantic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's one of my favorite spots is out on the patio as it's just starting to get dark out there at the Flicks. So and then from there, I might, wander over to Bar Granica and sit on the patio or, Bardenay or Red Feather or one of those beautiful, perfect, misty little patios that you can spend like 3 or 4 hours with a bunch of friends getting drinks. Love that. So if I don't do the Flicks and I don't do kind of a city day, instead, I would love to go out to Emmett, to what my family calls the slopes, and go get a bunch of peaches.
Yeah.
You can buy boxes and boxes of peaches and apples and apricots. And she just passed away, but a dear family friend of ours, Rita, for most of my life and all of my kids' life, would always call me and be like, I'm headed to the slopes. And then we would go and we would go get peaches. This lovely older woman. And you think, oh, I'm never going to eat this box of peaches, but we always go through them and I make
Oh,
peach
yeah.
cobbler or I freeze it or I make smoothies. So I love to go out to the slopes. And then a lot of times if I take the kids out there, we would go get fruit and then we would go, and I wish we had one of these in Boise. I would be, if you're listening, you're an investor. If we had a drive-in movie theater in Boise, I would be there every weekend. I love a drive-in
Yes.
movie. Ugh. But there is one out in Parma. And so a lot of times I would take the kids, we'd go get peaches and then we go to Parma for the drive-in movie out there, which is such a treat. It's so fun. If you're from a city, I am going to warn you, it is real shit kickery out there. And I say that with love as a shit kicker. So it's very small town. It's very cute. Parma's like a funny little town and the theater is very fun. And they have tons of treats and snacks. And so I wish there was one of those in Boise because I really do feel like that's one of the big things that Boise is missing is a drive-in movie theater. But
Yes.
I will occasionally make my way all the way out to Parma to go ahead and hit that. And it is worth it. Like especially if you can kind of make a trip, like there's a couple little burger places along the way that you can stop and get food and just park out there and eat. So that would be my perfect summer day. What do you think?
That sounds magical. Yeah.
It does sound magical. And also, if you're in Parma, there's Parma furniture.
There is Parma furniture.
Don't sleep on Parma furniture. It's like having a friend at the factory.
That is very true. I did buy a coffee table there many years ago, but I still have it. So there you go for quality.
I would also say honorable mention if we're kind of like leaving Boise. It depends on. You don't want to go on one of the like 110 degree days, but an afternoon out on like a patio at a winery out in Caldwell or south of
Yes.
Caldwell can be
Yes,
so lovely if they
absolutely.
have like a good mister system. Because you can while away so much time out there.
Yeah. If you could even make a day of it, pop out to Lake Lowell.
Yeah.
Swim around for a bit, then go hit the wineries out there. You can do some winery hopping, go do some tastings and stuff. That sounds perfect. Well, it sounds like we have actually a lot of really lovely ideas. So
Yes.
I want to be one of your 10 people, Blake. Let's set up a hammock.
Okay, cool.
Let's
All right,
Graham, are you
perfect.
in? What do you think?
Absolutely.
Let's
Sign
do
me
it.
up.
All right. Well, I'll see you at the park then. And thank you so much, both of you, for helping me plan these perfect summer days.
Thank you, Emma. Happy summer.
Thank you, Emma. Thanks, Blake.
And before you head out, the Boise Trails Challenge kicks off today, but there's still time to sign up. Open to hikers, bikers, and runners of all levels, the annual challenge is a month long and helps people discover new favorite trails around Boise. You can find more information and sign up at boisetrailschallenge.com. That's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you enjoyed the show, we'd love it if you leave us a review on your podcast app. It really does help other people find us. We'll be back tomorrow morning for your weekly news roundup. Bye.